We're going to listen to a small part of his first statement that already has details after being apprehended. I am Juan Carlos Monasterio Vanegas, Sergeant. I retired in 2013. After that, I met Captain Kawaripana in the year 2000, 2004, and 2006. And he spoke about this. He spoke about the Paramacay operation, and I said that I didn't agree to participate with this. He introduced me to Lieutenant Pico. After the attempt, after the event in Paramacay, he requested my help to rescue them from La Victoria. I went to La Victoria, and we had an accident at the toll of La Victoria. And then a colonel called Sosa Freitas gave him instructions for the Kawa event in Maracay. Here I lost contact with him until he was apprehended. Then, in October 2017, I was contacted by Lieutenant Pico to tell me that they continue with the fight to end this regime, and he told me if he could teach me about drones. I'm not a pilot, I told him. I told him that I was only a mechanic for planes. He told me that if I could provide him support with this process than driving a car, and I told him yes, and he invited me to Colombia. Then, after November, December, and January, he contacted me again and asked me what happened, why didn't I call him back. They were asking for me, and I said I was going to go in February. And then in February, I went to Colombia directly. I used my normal ID, and then in San Antonio, I was welcomed by Lieutenant Pico in Cucuta. We went to our camp. He introduced me to the lads. He told me how was this going to take place in the operation, which was an attack against the president. And then he introduced me to Osman Tabosky. I came back to Venezuela, and afterwards, in June, during the first days of June, I came back to Colombia. But I had problems with my documents, and my ID was taken away. I told him about this. He spoke with Socrates. Socrates is the one in charge of doing this type of links, and I was getting to San Cristobal, and then I got a message from Juan Requesens, who said he was the one in charge of allowing me to cross the border with Julio Borges. The instructions were that whenever I reach San Antonio, to go normally through the bridge the Colombian authorities, and then ask for Mr. Mauricio Jimenez, who's the manager there for migration in Colombia. I had no problems crossing the border. And then in Colombia, Pico was awaiting for me. And then we came back to the camp. Then we agreed how to work with the drones. And then there was a person that was in charge to pass them to Venezuela. The idea was passing them through Venezuela, taking them through plane to the Caracas airport. Then I came here on land, and we arrived here on July 3. July 3. We were waiting for the drones to arrive. They should have arrived on July 4. However, there were some issues in the airport, and then they were brought back. Then, this operation was reorchestrated for August 4th. I stayed there for 1 or 2 days, take a look at how security was taking place in Los Próceres, and I told the news to Tabosky. and came back to my house. While being at home, I returned to Chinacota. I once again crossed the border after speaking with Mauricio Jimenez. There, on July 29, we were back with drones that were already disarmed when we passed them. It was myself with the rest of the boys, and we brought them to Barquisimeto, where they going to be received by Pastor. And then they had some tests at a house. We disassembled it, and then we brought it back here for day 2, which was August 2, in order to be here where they were going to assemble the drones for the attack. We stayed at a hotel. A group stayed in Cabaña Suite Hotel, and another group stayed in the Pascual Hotel. I don't remember anything else. Well, a part of this, of the first statement